What is happening? Welcome back to Run Through TV. It is Ben Shepherd here. Today's guest, Sophie Liard. Sophie, you might know by another name. The Folding Lady is her name on a lot of her social media accounts. She's amassed quite the following with her brilliant content. I have to say though, not only the Folding Lady anymore, but the Marathon Lady after completing the London Marathon over the weekend. We get into her marathon training in this conversation. She also joined us at an event recently, the Surrey Half, so it was brilliant to have Sophie down there. And we talk about how to organise your running kit, because I know it's a mess.
I'm Sophie. People know me as the Folding Lady, which I guess is my job. And I have some social media accounts that do quite well and a book that did okay. And basically I teach people how to sort of organise their homes and fold their clothes. And where that came from is that I used to work in retail. And so I've kind of just transferred all my merchandising and folding skills and put it into a home environment. So it's not quite like what a professional organizer might teach you. It's more of how to set up your home, to sell things to yourself, to sell your life to yourself, to make things easier. So that's what I do.
How did that happen? How did you get to this point? Because it's not, quote unquote, a normal job, is it?
No, it's not. It's not, by far not a normal job. I went viral on TikTok in the pandemic, like a lot of people did. And then I just kind of moved it over to Instagram after a long while, and then moved it over to all the other social media accounts. So it was TikTok, really. I just was having a lot of fun over there and grew really quickly over a year. And then, like I said, moved over to all the other social media platforms after a long while. And that's how I grew.
Do you remember the moment when you thought, oh my God, like this is going wild here? Is there one video or one piece of content or one thing that you posted that you thought, this is crazy?
There was one video that in the moment I didn't realise it was how I gained a lot of followers from. But on reflection, I was like, oh, that might have been that, that slightly more viral moment, because I was growing at a nice sort of pace. Although, to be fair, it wasn't really about getting big on social media, although that was just like the fun of it. I really enjoyed posting the videos, and then I posted this. I had tens of thousands of followers at the time, but I posted this sock video of how to fold socks. And I'd never had a viral video, so I don't know if anyone else who's had a viral video will relate to this, but when it happens and the followers start coming in and the views are going up and up and up, you kind of miss it at the time. It's like I kind of missed it. And I remember being at my mum and dad's, and my brother-in-law said something about it. He said, oh, that video's doing really well. Have you seen that video you did about the socks? And I was kind of like, yeah, I keep getting loads of notifications. I did not have my notifications
Yeah, I was just about to say.
But when you open the app and and you get all the things come up. But I didn't really feel it in the moment, and it wasn't until it sort of died down then I understood what that viral moment was. But I totally didn't understand it in the moment, no. So yeah, and same on Instagram. Because Instagram was a bit tactical for me, actually, because I wasn't going to go on Instagram because I wasn't really that bothered. But they brought Reels out, and I read in a news article about it. God knows what news article I read about social media on, but it was in a tech magazine. I don't even know how I came across that article. Let's call it fate. And it was like, oh, it's bringing out Reels, which is basically short form video. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to think of this from a business point of view, now's my time to hop over to Instagram and jump on the Reels, because I've got loads of Reels stacked up on my phone, because it had been about a year since I'd started on TikTok. So I just started posting Reels, and I haven't really posted anything other since, to be honest. The timing of me jumping on Reels was integral to my growth on Instagram, because I don't grow that much anymore. But at the time, I was one of the only people posting Reels. So yeah, the timing of that was brilliant. And that's what helped me grow my following. Probably half of what I've got now was down to the timing of hopping over to Instagram, yeah.
Do you ever feel pressure? Because it happens quite quickly, and you've got these big followings now on a lot of social accounts. Is there pressure to keep those followings growing and keep the content going and keep the views and keep the likes and keep the shares? Do you feel that pressure?
Yeah, a little bit sometimes. I think if I was younger and this had happened, I would probably be a mess. But now at this point in my life, I understand that you don't need, it's all in your head, that kind of thing. The only pressure I have is to provide for my family. So I guess the only pressure, if I need views or people following me, that's only because that means I'll earn a living, you know. So it's only a metric. That's all I see the views as. And also, actually, on the flip side of that, I probably the views and not the likes, because I actually don't. That's not a metric for me that I bother about, is likes, because it doesn't actually mean anything. But views and shares and views on your stories, for me, that's also feedback from your audience. And that's not a negative thing. If your views are low, your audience just didn't respond to that. And I'm kind of here to give my audience what they want. So I guess it's not a pressure on me as a person. It's a pressure on. It's a nice pressure. Pressure doesn't always have to be crappy. Pressure can be a good thing. It's a pressure on me to make sure I'm delivering the right content that my business says it's going to deliver, you know? That is my business, it's content creation. So yeah, I guess there's a great pressure to do well, you know?
From there then, talking about pressure, something a lot of people do to deal with pressure is run. When did running first come into your life? Well,
the running came in not that long ago, actually, because I got a charity place in the London Marathon. So literally, we're talking months ago. I started training in January. Actually, if I go back to my 20s, I did run in my 20s.
Okay.
But I never got further than I don't know, I think the furthest I ran was 10 kilometers, and that was once. Okay. And I think before that, I would only run 4 kilometers and think I was dying. I think it's so crazy how running is not an age thing. I think that's the one thing I've learned this time doing it. But yeah, I started a few months ago officially for this. When I got the place in the marathon, I started training.
What was it like then? Because I know a lot of people watching this will feel you and understand exactly what that moment's like when you get that email or you get that message saying, hey, you got a charity place. What was that moment like, taking that in, thinking, okay, right, I better order some trainers here?
Oh my God, it was so long-winded actually, Ben. So I'll tell you how it happened. My husband was we were in the kitchen. My husband went, oh, your auntie has just put out on Facebook that there's a charity place for the marathon because she works for a charity. And he was like, oh, I think I might ask her if I can take it. And I was like, Jacob, babe, if anyone's going to take a marathon place that we could get, because it's my auntie, I've got to take it because I can raise money. I can actually raise money. And so I text her, and I had to go to these people. I mean, she wasn't in charge of it. She doesn't work in that department, but she copied me into an email with someone else, and I had to fill out a proper full-on what's the word for it? Like a form, questions, why do you want to do it? How are you going to complete it? Like full on interrogation, and which was quite good because, you know, I didn't want to get the place so easily, but it was just so drawn out. And then it was like 2 weeks later and they say, oh yeah, we'll give you the place. I was like, oh, and then it was Christmas. So I was like, well, I didn't want to train at Christmas. I should have really. But I started in January. I did one run before Christmas, I think. Used it as an excuse. It's quite scary though. I was scared. I was excited and I was scared is what I felt.
So being excited and scared, how do you then put together a plan to get to the marathon? How has that kind of happened?
Well, I was working with a PT already. Once a week I go to Sophie, who is my PT at Stable in Guildford, and she just happened to be a runner. And yeah, and I just remember her always, I see on her Instagram, she's always running, she does races. She wanted to do London Marathon a couple of years ago, but I think she got COVID or something. And I thought, well, who better to start with? And so I voice noted. She was the first person I voice noted. I knew she'd be happy. And yeah, she's been giving me sort of weekly training, weekly runs. We've used this app called True Coach, and she uploads me my runs. And then I have one sort of strength type session with her as well, a week. And she, which I go to anyway. I always do one a week with her. And she tailored that more towards things that I needed to strengthen for running. And then I started going to Pilates once a week as well. I couldn't even say whether that's helped. I like Pilates. So I thought, and they started one at my gym. So I thought, oh, I'll go to that.
Yeah, it'll definitely help 100%. We're like, when we're recording this, we're 2 weeks out, under 2 weeks out from London. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really, really nervous actually, but in a good way. I did a half marathon a few weeks ago and it made me really nervous. Oh, it was hard, Ben. Like, it was so hard. I couldn't believe. Do you know what? I learned so much from that half marathon. If anyone's running a marathon, I would say planning a race, like a race day. The whole race day setup made me feel so amazing. They're so well organised, these races. They're so fun. Like, there's stalls there. There's so many people there. And I didn't know there was pacer people. I didn't know there was pacers. I didn't know anything about these race days. These are like big deals. And I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe the setup. The rock choir was there. They're my favourites. And actually the organisation of the day made me feel a lot more confident. Like, it didn't feel like I was on my own, even though I obviously was. And it just was really nicely organised. And then, so that made me feel really good. Like, I know what I'm going to do on marathon day now. There were some other learns that were harder. I didn't eat properly at all. Shocking, actually, what I did. That I didn't take my gels properly. I didn't even have a plan. I had no plan to take gels. I actually don't think I took any. I think I just had them off the table. Like, I didn't set myself up in that way. And then, interestingly, I did set myself up I went on a sort of a half, I think I did a half marathon this weekend. And I was like, right, I'm going to take gels. I did it at 7 minutes, 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes. 7 kilometers, 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers. I was
going to say, that's a lot of gels.
I was really high. No, and it worked. The difference was incredible. Difference was amazing, and I ate properly before the race. Like, I had like proper food, and so from doing the half marathon, I built the confidence for an actual race day itself. Because I think sometimes people, if you're not a runner, when you do a race day for the first time, you kind of feel like an imposter. kind of feel a bit stupid, like you're going to school for the first time and everyone else has already been in, like it's a new school type thing. Actually, it was fantastic. And I would happily rock up to another race day. I think I'm going to do the September one actually. And then with all the food and the gels and the energy, I learned that the hard way with the half marathon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was the Surrey half you joined us. I think it's important though to have those days. Like you said, like you have to have those days where things go wrong, because if you don't have those days when things go wrong before the marathon, then things could go wrong on marathon day, and that's definitely not what you want. You do not want that. So it's like it's so important to learn those lessons. And it was very interesting then you said about feeling like an imposter at a race. Trust me, like I've stood on the start line of loads and loads of races now in my life. That never changes. Like you always get those nervous butterflies, and you stand on that start line and you look around and you think, oh, these people, have they done more training than me? Or has this person done, why are they taking a gel here? Or why are they doing this here? Or do I need to take water? Like it always happens. And that, I know it's cliche, but that like sticking to your plan is so important.
Yeah. And I think that's so important to remember. Like you're going to have your own plan. There's no set plan for everyone. You have to work it out yourself, and you can like, I actually watched last week a few YouTube videos about just roughly what people eat in a week up to the marathon, what they eating on the morning, what are they packing in their belts, like what equipment have they used, and you know, everyone is doing something different, everyone. And because it's just so individual, because like I said at the beginning, I was saying like, this isn't an age thing. Like I finished the half marathon at the same time as this guy, right? I'm telling you, he was easily, and I think I'm just being kind in case he wasn't, but I know he was, easily 70. And we finished the half marathon at the same time, easily 70. And I've got like friends who are running who are 10 years older than me who are going to finish it in way shorter time than me. So it's just really individual, really, really individual, especially when you're taking your gels. I was watching a woman on YouTube. She said that she takes hers every 35 minutes. Actually, I think and actually that's what made me take them so close, a lot closer together on that other race, and it worked really well. So yeah, definitely, you can't copy someone else's training. You've got to do your own.
It's so individual, 100%. What do you think you're going to feel standing on the start line then, on the day?
I'm going to be
how are you going to feel?
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest, right? I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to be buzzing. I'm going to be stood there like, oh my God, the London Marathon. This is iconic. And then also at the same time, I'm going to be like, can't wait to get to the end. Can't wait. Can't wait to get to the pub. Can't wait to can't wait to get my food. But I am a little bit worried that I'm gonna be really hungry in like I know that sounds awful. I'm really worried that I'm gonna be hungry in the race. Like I'm gonna be really hungry. Like I'm gonna need a sandwich or something. But yeah, I'm gonna be absolutely buzzing. Like proper. I can't wait.
There's plenty of Tesco's on the route if you need to like pop and get yourself a meal deal. I think you'll be absolutely fine. And trust me, there's gonna be enough to kind of satisfy your senses going on around you.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Everyone keeps saying about the people watching the Spectators, and I need to get my shirt printed. I've been really late on that actually, but a lot of my followers have said get your name on your shirt, because then people shout your name and it's really motivating. And it was interesting because when I was talking to my followers about that, I thought back to the half marathon, and then I ran this. So I ran this weekend, like 24 kilometers I ran, and I actually ran it. I mean, my knee. I actually walked a bit because of my knee. My knee gave in. But it was, I know that I was slower in that than I was on the half marathon, even though this weekend I felt so good because I was doing the proper gels and I'd eaten proper. And then I thought, well, the only difference is the crowd and the race day and the adrenaline of the race. So yeah, I think there's definitely that is going to push me, because I'm thinking in my head I'm gonna like 8 hours.
No, you won't be doing 7 8 hours.
I'm quite slow, you know. I can't. Do you know what? I couldn't seem to pick up the pace throughout all my training. I kind of got to a pace, and it was like 7.5, 8, sometimes 9 minute kilometers. I do it in kilometers because then my mindset doesn't make it into the marathon, because I know how many miles it is, and I can't do the math. But yeah, I couldn't seem to. I was quicker on the half marathon day, but I couldn't seem to pick up the pace on that. Not that it matters. I was saying to someone the other day, I don't care how quick I do it, apart from the fact that I don't want to be running all day.
Yeah.
It's just that mindset of knowing that you're not going to be running for like 12 hours. I just want to be running for like, I'd love to do it in 6 or 7. I don't know.
I think it's just covering the distance, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 26.2 miles, the 42.2. Everybody covers exactly the same distance. And trust me, you get that extra 10 or 20% on race day. And with the crowds, like,
yeah,
I know a lot of people will have said this, but they are unreal. Like those moments when you go over the bridge or you come down then at the end, those moments are those things that like stick with you for a very, very long time. They must be exciting for you.
I'm very excited. My first marathon, I can't believe I've even run like over 10 kilometers. And I could do that now. Like I could go now and run 10 kilometers and be like, yeah, cool. 10 kilometers, short run day. Can't believe it. Honestly, I actually can't believe it. I think it just shows. And do you know what? I haven't run with anyone ever, because I don't want to. That's my personal thing. Don't want to run with anyone. Don't want to, I'm actually, no, saying that, I'm running with Sophie this afternoon, but only because I didn't want to do a gym session. I was like, why don't we just run? But yeah, I've lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was saying.
What were you were saying about 10k being a short run day? But they're the cool things that are like with training come, don't they? Like you'd be super stressed about going to do a 10k maybe 3 months ago. Whereas now you're like, roll out of bed on a Wednesday morning, go run a 10k, easy. Yeah,
can't believe it. Can't believe that I can run 10k and that's a short day. And then some people telling me how they're stressing over their 10k race, and just to have that thought in my head of, I actually wouldn't stress over that. I could actually happily do that. I don't know if my times would be worthy of anything, but I could happily run that 10k race as an amateur.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone can do it. Like, you've just got to build up. It was just if anyone sees and I've put I didn't record all my runs on Instagram, but lots of them I did. I put a marathon highlight, you can see my first run was a 15-minute run, and I got nowhere. And then you can see how it's built up. The other thing I did was we had a Peloton that we used to use. My teenage son running it and my husband running it. I didn't really ever use it. But I started on the Peloton because we had all the snow weather when I started training, and I was so paranoid that I'd slip and fall, because that would be classic me. So I started running on the Peloton, and when the weather picked up, I got outside. Now, I can tell you now, if anyone is stuck on their Peloton, get outside for a run. You will run. I mean, I actually probably ran a bit slower outside, because the Peloton keeps my pace up. So it's good for that. But the beautifulness of running outside, it's so much more freeing than when you're on the Peloton. I couldn't believe it. I've sold the Peloton. I was like, let's get rid of it, guys. We need to get outside. It's a different feeling, and I got further because I have got a very I get bored very quick, is my personality. And the Peloton, I got really bored really quick. You're just static in one place. And that's my other thing that was hard about this marathon, is how bored I get so quickly. And just running outside just really, really helps you keep in the race. Like, it's amazing. It's so much better than running on the treadmill.
From someone that's been there quite recently in terms of the start of your running journey, if there's somebody watching this now and they're thinking, well, this is amazing, like maybe I could do something like this, what would your be kind of advice to them?
Oh my God, you can. Like, you really can. And do you know what? The other thing is, it burns so many calories. Like, that is not my full pitch, okay? I'm going to put it out there now, right? When I ran this weekend, I burnt 2,000 calories, okay? I'm just putting it out there. But how can I explain running? I don't feel like it's like the other exercises. I feel it's a lot more freeing. It's a lot more almost like a meditation type sport. Like, sometimes when I go for runs, I'll come up with my best ideas in my head, like, and I'll listen to music and I'll be on my own, and it's just from in that side of things, it's really probably the best sport to do if you need to just get out and just free your mind. Genuinely does that, and make you really creative, which I think is surely scientifically proven. I would say that without even knowing it or seeing the research. Just like walking is, and that's the other thing. You can walk, like, there's no pressure to run. Like, you can, like, and when I say run, I'm jogging like the whole way. But you can walk, you can stop, you can run, and you're still getting the same good stuff, like getting out there, and just like slowly build it up. Like, don't forget, I started on a 15-minute run, and I'm about to run a marathon. And although my longest run is probably a half marathon, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, when this comes out, it's going to be the Tuesday after the London Marathon. So,
oh my God,
where do you hope, and what do you hope that you have got out of that race?
What, as in specifics, like time?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be time. It can be time, but how do you hope to be feeling the Tuesday after London? You're going to be sore. I'll give you that. You're going to be sore.
Yeah.
What do you want to get out of it?
I really hope, and actually I was genuinely thinking this the other day, I really hope that I carry on running. I hope that this wasn't just a thing for me. I hope that I will keep going, and I hope I will sign up to, I think there's another one in September, and I hope I sign up for it. I should probably go and do that now. And I hope I keep doing it, because I have really enjoyed it, and it's probably the easiest to fit into my schedule, because you don't have to drive to the gym, you don't have to drive to Pilates, you just literally step out your front door and you're in your exercise class and you're doing your movement. And it's the one that's probably made me the most relaxed, and like I said, when you're out there, it's just cool with your own thoughts, with your music, podcast, whatever you want to listen to. And also the achievements are like no end. You run like even just an extra kilometre, even half a kilometre, and you're like personal best. You could do that every day. So if you've got a personality like me, you really need to break things down, small chunks. You could really go for it. You could really do the 5K, like 2K, 3K, and just really build it up very, very slowly. What
would your advice be kind of on how to organise kit, trainers, all that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, I've got to say, I know this isn't organising, but I'm going to say it anyway. You need to go to the shop and go to a proper running shop and get some proper running trainers where they put you on the treadmill and they look at your feet and stuff like that. That I don't think I would have run as good as if I'd have done that and just had those checked and got some proper fitted trainers. I have all my stuff in like one place. And I say this about all gym kits as well. Like, if you're a regular exerciser, don't like put everything all over the place. Like, have it all in one drawer, like have it all together. So because what you want to do is, if you're slightly unmotivated one day, you're going to be even more unmotivated to go if you've got that excuse of, oh, but I can't find that because I have to rummage through that drawer, I have to find that. But if you've got it all in one place, in one drawer, and I do this with my son's football kit, we've got a football kit drawer, so everything's in one place, you won't have that moment and you'll have to go, get it all out, put it all on, sorted. Everything in one drawer. That's how you organise when you're a sports, it's same as work uniforms, gym kits, anything that is just a whole. People are very tempted to go, oh, well, that's a dress, so I'll put it with my other dresses, or that's a t-shirt, so I'll put it with my other t-shirts. No. Put it all together, and it'll give you, honestly, it'll bring much more motivation on those days where you're looking for excuses. And usually, some people will know this, your excuse is, oh, I won't be able to find that. Oh, I can't bother to rummage around for that. Oh, I don't know where my belt is. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, probably shouldn't go. But no, you get yourself ready, put it all in one space. That is my advice.